Hey, do you want to install Zed, the new IDE, on Windows? Well, I'm here to help with that. Actually, I was here to help with that a few days ago, and it turned into a pretty long process. There's some fuss with the install process, but here's a quick rundown of like what are we even talking about? What's the point? Zed is an IDE. It's language agnostic, but it's written in Rust, and so it's very snappy. And they say they've designed it to run a bit like a video game in terms of how it keeps itself updated and rendered. So you can really like zip around. Because it maintains a frame rate. It doesn't stop and wait and try and access the operating system. VS Code is wonderful for its flexibility, but it drags. So that's a core idea here. They've also integrated a lot of social elements directly in, so you can, there's chats that you can join, kind of Discord-like. You can switch anything you're doing immediately. If I go into this channel, I'm now in here, and I can share it. So now I am just sharing my editor, and someone else can come in and work with me. And that's also true of language models. So you get both, on the side context. You can fill it up with things like tab, the current tab, right? So this is the Hard Problem podcast. We do some code in that work. And you can see it's just like, it's right there. It just embeds it right into the context. And so when you say something like, help, need better organize, baby, Control Enter, I understand you're looking for help. So split the code into separate functions. That seems legit. I don't care about this right now. Point is, you get access to the model right here, and it's something that you define locally. It's not routing through their backend, and it's fully free, open source. Like everything is working in that capacity. I'd love to see one for Grok. I don't know if I have that yet, but yeah. So you have the ability to pop open a side panel to chat, and it's not even really a chat. It's more like it's a fully editable context. I can delete things that it said. I can change what I say. It's just text after all. So pop that tab closed, and we can also say, Control Enter right in here. Add a new round of group chat from ROGen. I don't know. We'll see what it does with that. New task. Now let's have a focus discussion. So I don't want to talk about what all this is, but you get code right in here, and it can go line by line. It can edit things. It uses a git diff. So right now we're just adding to this line. I can say accept or reject. Now, this is not the only tool that's ever done this, but I think Zed represents a good path in this space. That's why I'm sort of here championing you, poor Windows user who can't download it, to be able to build it. So it's made for Mac OS and Linux, and quote soon for Windows. And there's some build issues that will maybe make that made clear. If you want to download it on Windows or Linux, you're home free. You can have it right now. But if you want to use it on Windows, you got to build. So let me give you the rundown of my process here for how we got there. So go to GitHub. I already have it open, but yeah. And we want the installation, building Zed for Windows. So essentially what we're doing is we're saying we're going to take on the role of developer and download the code and build it locally. So if you want to play with this on Windows, this is what you have to do, building for Zed. So first you're going to download the repository. We'll show that step in a minute. Okay, you know what? Let's go in order so it's more aligned. So you can get all of the code in a repo. There's lots of ways to do it, but the bare bones way to do it is, where is it? Is it downloading here? No. Which one is the... Yeah, okay. Download zip. You can download all the code right here and download the zip. So this is sort of the source code that we'll use to build the app later. So you do that, you get the zip, you put it somewhere that you want to run it, and you unzip. So you got to work your dependencies. So you need to install Rust. Like genuinely, it's a programming language. You got to get it installed on your system. Pick 32 or 64. I think I went 64. You need to do Rust update to update Rust, and you need the wasm32 toolchain. Like WebAssembly, is that what wasm is? You need Visual Studio, not VS Code. Visual Studio is like the more complete editing environment or development environment. And so VS Code or Visual Studio 2022, that one worked for me. Well, mostly. I'm going to give you the rundown of where this went wrong for me. So, you do this was enabled by default for me. Let's see. I have an old video. Let me see if I can pull something from there. Basically, when you install, make sure this component is enabled. It was enabled by default for me, but in the Visual Studio, let's see, do I have that? Here's an old video of me. No, it was here. No, it was this one. Scrolling. I just want to give you as much, visual feedback as you can. It takes a while, by the way. These things will take a minute to install. Here it is. So let me pop this out. Here's me doing the previous version of this. I'll just make it a little bigger. What you're looking for is in this little window that you can pop up when you're installing Visual Studio. So we're doing the 2022 version, and you're going to click Modify. And right, so you're going to search for the thing you're looking for. It's I think everything's version 143 at the start. VS 2022 is what we're doing. And there's one that's just, none of these are selected, but the one that I installed by default was selected. Let me find that. Come on, baby. I spent so long fussing around here. There it is. So this was already selected for me, but just go in and verify that MSVC V143 VS 2022, right? Build tools for 64 to 86, right? Latest. That works. That worked for me, at least for building. Well, again, so we're close, right? You install Windows 11 or 10 SDK. Again, you just gotta pop that open and install it. All of these things are using installers, so it's a pretty on-rails process. You just need to make sure all these dependencies are there. You also need CMake, which is how you build C code in this world. So I think it does more than that now, but yeah. Okay, so once you get all of these dependencies installed, it might take you about, depends. I think mine was 40 plus minutes total if I was running them all back to back. But yeah, so in theory, once these dependencies are good to go, you can now do the installation. So you got to get that Z repository. In fact, I think we can do a funny thing here, and I'll open Z. Doesn't have any of the operating system features. Open a new project, and we're going to go to GitHub, and we're going to get Z. We're going to open Z. Look at that. This editor is reading its own code. I'm going to close these now. Who cares? So, we are, let me go back to those actual files. Here we are. We're inside of that repo. So what you would do is in the terminal, scooted that out of frame, didn't I? In the terminal, you would run one of the following. I recommend running cargo run. The release build is going to be a bit more pruned down and optimized, but it also won't give you any information if it breaks, which mine did. So cargo run, and it will spend upwards of 20 minutes building the executable from the source, right? It's going into all these folders, doing all the different, hey, we're going to build an app. Let's go. So it'll do all of that. It'll take time. And at the end of it, you will have in, I believe it's called target and either debug or release debug, you'll have z.exe, the executable. Problem is, when I run mine, oh wait, I didn't mean to do that. Let me do reveal in file manager. Hey Zed, let's open you. Okay, here's what happens when I ran mine after building. And this is why I'm doing this in the first place. Something's a bit busted. Something about the way that my system built the code didn't work out for me, which was pretty frustrating because it felt like everything was going great. And then we get here and I'm not sure how to debug this because I'm a little bit, I didn't write this code. And the other issue is that as I searched on their site, these types of issues happen, but a lot of them happen for different people and in different scenarios. And my unique combination of system state didn't work out. So I went to their fallback plan, which was, we'll kill Zed again. The fallback plan is to use msys2. Which has its own, it has Zed as a package that you can just download. msys2 is, what do you call that? It's like a package manager, software distribution manager for Windows. So if you're used to apt-get or, there's so many now, aren't there? What's the one on Mac? It's like Brew, I guess, or it's something close. Point is that it has lots of stuff readily available for you to download by way of the command line. So you got to install msys2, and that again is a fairly straightforward process. And what you come out with is there's a lot of different versions of msys2. Let me pop one open right now. So this is the Clang 64 version. I tried the UCRT64 one. It didn't work. It seemed to think my system was in 32-bit mode or something. So, shrug. It didn't function. But Clang 64 worked. So when I did Pacman Syu, SYU, I think that means to update my list, and then Pacman -s and this whole Ming W package prefix Z whatever. So you just essentially what this is going to do is it'll put Clang, the appropriate whatever your system stuff is, in here, and it'll get Z properly. Then all you gotta do to run it is run Z in this shell. Now you get those same errors, and it gets more and more errors, but look what it's doing. It's running. It doesn't care about these errors. And when you're building stuff from source, that's great. The only problem is it doesn't remember me when I use msys2 to log in. It doesn't remember my login, like that I was logged in with GitHub. It doesn't remember this stuff. I don't think it remembers my secrets for AI chat. It doesn't. Well, maybe it does. Let's see, configure. Okay, those are still configured. But this is a problem. If you're trying to use this thing and get the most out of it, then that's a little screwy. Here's the trick. I don't know if you knew this one. Where Z? Where is that Z executable? You're asking msys2. And the answer is, it's in C msys64, Clang 64, bin Z. Interesting. Let's get us a little browser tab. That's my home. Oh wait, so we're looking for C, local disk. We're looking for msys2 or msys64, I guess. Looking for Clang 64. Looking for binaries. We're looking for Z. So kill that. This Z binary worked for me. It works fine. I'm sure it's still blasting errors out the back, but that's hidden and it remembers who I am. This is a functional IDE now, and you can play around with it. So I know that there's a lot of steps to get to, hey, actually you can just get a pre-built version from msys 2, but I wanted to document like where you might go wrong here, because you could still do this from scratch and it will probably work. It's not like, you know, my system might just have something screwball with it. That happens a lot in Windows. So yeah, good luck. I hope you can build Z for Windows. I hope you can, and if not that, I hope you can download it from msys 2 and give it a shot, because I think, yeah, it's pretty slick, dude. I'm a big fan. You know, things are instant. If we go, Tommel, get, ooh. You know, apply a theme. Instant, instant, instant. Oop. So, yeah. What was I using? I liked the indigo clear. No, we don't need to do that. So, there it is. Best of luck, and I hope that you have some fun with it. Let me know.